Hey, I'm continuing my coverage of the World Open War. I will also be trying to record games at the World Open War, give you updates and all of that jazz. I will really try to cover this as I am going in a bloody minute. Um, I'm extra stressed out because I'm actually going on a holiday with the wife. Like right up to I get back from that holiday on the day that I'm going to jump on the plane to go to World Open War. So it's all very tight for me, and I have to do all these videos before I go on the holiday because once I am on holiday, I'm not going to be able to record. So everything has to be done before. And today I am going to talk you through the Group B, which is of course the group that we ended up in. So let's go. So this is Group B for World Open War. This is the Danish Vikings, which is my team. Um, and I will just I'll let you know who plays what because it doesn't matter. Most people have already guessed. The OPSEC is completely gone out the window. We are bringing a Soviet platoon, and that will be Michael C. That brings that. He is still working on his forward deploying Soviets. He brought that to the Dutch nationals, did well, but also lost a few games. So he's still trying to perfect that idea. It's a 17 order dice list, inexperienced lieutenant, scout squads, 4 of those, the free rifle squad, a sniper. So all of these scouts can forward deploy their veterans, 5 men, 5 SMGs, forward deploying. Very, very difficult to get rid of. Flamethrower team, sniper team, medium mortar, inexperienced dog mine to keep the opposing player honest, and then 2 tank hunter teams. So that's another 2 teams of 4 men that are deploying in the center of the table. That's a lot of forward deployers. Really is a lot of forward deployers. He's going to have to be clever about it because they're small units, but it is a lot of power. Medium howitzer, regular, no spotter. BA-20 to be able to throw that armored car up and just hose down something with a flamethrower is lovely. A recce steward and some jeeps for his small teams. One of them is a veteran, so he can outflank. Very, very strong list, and I'm really hoping that this pays off. He's convinced me about this. We just need to match him up with the right opponents on the right tables. Then is my list, and you know this. This is my go-to competitive ideas. If I'm really going to try to win, which I am. Um, I am trying to build other armies and other lists, and I am starting to bring them to tournaments. But for this event, I felt like, as did my team, that we were going to try to win the group since we were the highest seeded team in the group. So I bring a second lieutenant inexperienced. I have 4 Gurkha units of 8 men and a single 5-man regular infantry unit. Now that 5-man unit is there for a very, very specific reason, which I'll show you in a minute, because it's not going to be on the table for most games. The Gurkhas, of course, I run them bare bones, no SMGs, and I run them 8-man because I know mathematically 7 is better, but I like the extra man for just the ability to charge multiple times, because you will suffer casualties with assault troops. And I want my Gurkhas to be able to charge 3 times and win those combats. So that's why I have 8-man Gurkhas. Flamethrower team, because why not? It's really good to have one of those. A medium mortar inexperienced, also really good little capability. A Piat team, again, something you basically need in most games because I have very limited anti-tank capability. Because my armored car choice is 3 motorcycles with sidecars, LMGs. That is extra darker for me, which is something I feel I need in most of my lists. By the way, I forgot to mention the artillery observer. He's there in every British list, of course. And a Darker Steward, fully loaded with a Jeep as well, and the LVT Buffalo. Now the trick here is to put the 5 regular dudes in the LVT because they can man all the machine guns. So the LVT suddenly becomes a machine gun nest that is 7+ armored, has a light autocannon as well. It is open topped, but that's a lot of shots that I can split fire. So that's the main idea with that. Right. Then finally we have Mark. He's bringing his Japanese, 15 order dice Japanese, little low, but look at what he brings. He's bringing a second lieutenant with 3 extra guys, so survivable little unit. He's bringing grenadiers with the 3 light mortars in each unit. That's a lot of dudes with a lot of light mortar in indirect shots. An engineer squad veteran with flamethrower and SMG, and then Paras, 2 times 10 veteran Paras. Very, very, very hard to kill. A sniper team, flamethrower team, so that's the second flamethrower. A medium mortar with a spotter, and 3 suiciders in experience. A light howitzer, a tankette, and a truck. So that's it. That is the lists for the Danish team. Do we think that we will win the group? Maybe. I think we have a decent shot at it, at least. We have good players, we have experienced players. All of these guys have been on the Danish WTC team. And I think that we have a decent shot. The lists are not bad, although they are, of course, a little bit one-trick pony, all of them. But that's what we like. We are facing off against Cymru, the second Welsh team. Let me just see if I can find them here. Where are they at? Team Cymru. Right, here we go. So, again, a Welsh team, and again, they have such hard lists. They are second ranked, so they are not bad players at all, and they have brought all the flamethrowers that you possibly could. Germany, with Storm Pioneers veteran, 4 of those with Panzerfaust, SMGs, flamethrowers. Very, very, very hard and very hard hitting. Replacement Army Squad, 10 Shirkers for 40 points, very cheap as well, good outflanker unit. A flamethrower, that's the 5th flamethrower in this list. Heavy mortar with a spotter, AT rifle. So the heavy mortar with a spotter really makes an appearance at World Open War here. Nebelwerfer, again, you can't stand still in your own back line if the enemy has a heavy mortar and a Nebelwerfer. What are you going to do? You're going to have to push up. But if you push up, then all the heavy field cars and the flamethrowers are going to be delivered straight to you. So this is a list that really knows what it wants to do. At the same time, it has an open blitz and a SDKF set 250/9. So he really has the capability to shot down light armor and soft skinned that are trying to move up. You're going to have to fight this head on, and it will be bloody. I'm telling you right now. People are going to get roasted by all these Storm Pioneers. It's a very hard list. Then there's an American list here. Second Lieutenant in experience. Again, veteran engineers. 4 of those. So again, all the flamethrowers, all the SMGs. Bars on top of some of them. US Marines with 3 triple bars. That is a good skirmish unit. Heavy mortar, again, spotter. Bazooka team. Again, a multi-rocket launcher, so very similar list. You can sort of feel the theme going through all the lists here. A recce jeep, a steward, and some dodgers for the engineers, some of them with MMGs. If you don't need all the engineers, then you can just sit the dodgers in the back line and shoot. Wow, these are good lists. I don't know who came up with these lists, but they are 3.5s, 4s, all of them. And then there's a British one with Tough as Boots, which I'm not a massive fan of. I may be persuaded I'm wrong, of course, but Tough as Boots actually increases your close combat capabilities, and you're using that for your Gurkhas. My issue is that the Gurkhas are already the best close combat troops in the game. Do they really need extra boosting in close combat? I don't think so. I think they need to get to close combat, which is why I would argue that Up and Atom is better. But let's see. I may be proven wrong. Um, Second Lieutenant, Artillery Observer, of course. Royal Engineers, we've seen those before. 5 men, Flamethrower. Gurkhas, 6 man, and then Gurkha Paras 2 times 8 with double SMGs. Sniper, veteran. Flamethrower team, regular. Heavy mortar team, inexperienced here though. So there's a lot of heavy mortars, many of them with the spotters, um, making an appearance at the World Open War. Piat team, 25 pounder. Staghound, this is a tank, it's an 8 plus with a light anti-tank gun. Has 2 machine guns as well, so it can split fire. Very lovely. And an M3 Lee. So this is it has a lot of anti-tank capability, this list. It doesn't have that much transport for its stuff, and one of the order dice is just a mule, which is very vulnerable. So it'll be interesting to see. This list is very reminiscent of what we've seen Russell do with his Gurkhas and Lee, that combo. I don't think that it's as good as Up and Adam, but we will see. We will definitely see. And I think that I'm going to have to prove my words because this list is played by Gervin. Gervin has challenged me. And since we are facing off in the last round of the playoff of the group play, then I'm going to have to accept that challenge and play Gurkhas on Gurkhas, which will be annoying as fuck. But you have to do what you have to do. If you want to be the best, you're going to have to accept challenges. You can't just let people get away with challenging you and not fighting them. So I'm going to have to do that. So Gervin, we will see. Now, 2 more teams in our group. One of them is the US Swans. Here we go. So this is the second American team. They are ranked 3rd in our group here, and and I'm not sure who's actually on this team. I'm sorry, I can't figure it out. But they're bringing rather interesting lists as well. Interesting choices as well for nations, because there's a Soviet one here. That's pretty standard, right? With a scout squad, 7-man SMGs. Guards, SMGs on those as well. No Panzerfaust, though. Rifle squads, 12 men, so this is a horde list. A horde list. Look, it's got 73 guys in the list. That's a lot of bodies. Sniper, heavy mortar with a spotter, an autocannon, a BA-10, and a Katusha, and 2 trucks. For me, I think this is a little bit vulnerable to pins, just because these large units, you're going to have trouble hiding them, and they are vulnerable to being pinned, and they're also quite vulnerable being inexperienced to charges and to skirmishing fire. So there is a lot of vulnerability in this list for me, but it is a lot of bodies. There's so many bodies, and you can forward deploy. It's got sniper and the scout squad as well. Yeah, you can't stay back, right? Because if you're staying back, you'll be hit by the Katusha. Yeah. Second list is Hungary, and that is an interesting choice. We don't normally see Hungary doing very well, but I think that there could be something there, and we're going to see it a little bit further down. They're bringing a 2nd lieutenant regular, 2 Honved platoons with Panzerfausts, double Panzerfaust, that's why you bring those. Border guards with flamethrowers, 8-man units. They really need some kind of transport, in my opinion. And the Danube flotilla. Yes, it has LMGs, and yes, I've said many times that LMGs are not worth it, but I think they might actually be so on the Danube flotilla, because it's a special kind of LMG which has fewer shots, but it's a really good backline holder, isn't it? You got 8 inexperienced dudes with the range of that special LMG. For 66 points? Yeah, that might be worth it. Then they bring a sniper, medium mortar, regular with spotter, a Soravetto, that is a multi-launcher, a Polizei tank, that's the darker tank, and because they're Hungary, they can actually bring a German tank here. So the Polizei is Italian, of course, in its build, but the Germans and the Italians have access to it, as does all the minor nations that are allied with the Axis powers, because they have that German allies special rule, so they can take double tanks. That's why you take Hungarians. So the Serini is a 9 plus with a howitzer, if I remember correctly. And the Polizei tank is, of course, a darker tank, so he has both capabilities. Lovely idea. Love the idea. Really, really strong idea. Do I think they can do well? Well, they're low on order dice. This list is low on order dice, but it does have a 9 plus tank and a darker tank. We will see. Then there is the German list, 14 order dice, a little low again. Hair Pioneers with flamethrowers, veterans, veteran Waffen SS with Panzerfausts. One of them has an LMG unit, that's a backline holder unit. An MMG team, I don't think this is worth it. A sniper team, veteran, that's worth it. Light mortar team, veteran, I would rather buy a medium or inexperienced or heavy mortar than make it inexperienced. Light arty, that is worth it. 250/9, definitely. Kugelblitz, ouch. Yeah, and 2 heavy field cars for the engineers. Now, I really don't want to fight this. When we face off against the Americans, I really don't want to fight this list. Because flamethrowers, they kill my Gurkhas, and the Kugelblitz will shred anything I have. So, yeah. For me, the American lists here are a little low on order dice, and I think that's the main drawback. I think they're going to struggle against many of the opposing forces because they're going to lack that little bit of predictability of who gets the order dice count. But it's not massively out of scale. And the lists are interesting, and there's a few interesting choices. I like the Hungarian one. I I I fear the German one, and the Soviet one. I would be perfectly happy fighting against that one, but I don't want to be bombarded by his Katyusha and his heavy mortar. So there's a lot of good fighting power here as well. Now, the final nation for our group is the Swiss. Um, the Swiss are bringing a Japanese list here, 18 order dice, nice count, 90 bodies, that's a horde, bamboo spearmen, 2 of those, Kempetai and an officer, of course. Veterans, 12-man units, ouch! So the Japanese players here are combining the light, inexperienced horde with the veterans that we're also seeing from the other Japanese players who are bringing lists here that they may be the way forward for Japanese. I really like that combo because what the bamboo spearmen can't kill, the veterans can. An IGN scout team, lovely because that's forward deployment. Machine gun section, that's another 10 men. 10 men. Yeah, they're a little expensive because you have to buy that machine gun, but 10 men. That's another infantry choice. Very clever. Very clever. Whoever came up with this, God, you're good. A sniper team, veteran. Flamethrower team, veteran. Medic, cheap order dice. Medium mortar, inexperienced. AT rifle. I don't understand this. Yeah, well, okay, maybe. It doesn't need to be veteran. Veteran Suiciders, improvised AT team, 5-man units, another small infantry choice. They're spamming infantry choices, these Japanese players. Love it. Love it to bits. It's really clever. Light howitzer, and a mule. That's it. I think it lacks a little bit of gun teeth, but it's a lot of bodies. God damn it, that's a lot of bodies. I really hope I get to play that because the Gurkhas can cut their way through all those bodies, but I don't think my other players can. Then we have the British list here with Ob and Adam, Gurkha pairs. We know these lists. 3 Gurkha Paras with SMGs. Then the auxiliary military pioneers, inexperienced dudes, very, very cheap because they're unarmed. They can't fight. Sniper team, flamethrower team, medium mortar, inexperienced. Pier team, Bofors gun, lovely. 3 motorcycles, and look at this. This is clever. One of them has an SMG, one of them has the LMG, and one of them has the AT rifle. Now, the AT rifle is a little bit more expensive, but the SMG is cheaper. So overall, he's spending exactly the points that I'm spending on my motorcycles, but he's getting different capabilities. Nice one. I like this. Whoever made this, you're bloody clever. And a Crusader AA, another just very, very lovely tank. Has the double light autocannons, trucks to transport the Gurkhas and the engineers, and a brain carrier. Lovely list. Lovely, lovely list. This is going to be a struggle to fight against. Final list is a Soviet one for the Swiss here. Brings second lieutenant, 2 Strafbat units of 12 with 7 unarmed shirkers, so that is very, very cheap, and they're full strength, so they can outflank. Assault engineers, flamethrower, mounted recon, flamethrower. The assault engineers, of course, by the way, has the armor, so Death Star unit type thing. 3 rifle squad, sniper, veteran, medium mortar, inexperienced, 2 dog mines, inexperienced, SIS 3, BA-20, Steward, gas jeeps. By the way, the Steward is 155 points. That's interesting. What did he buy to make it 55? Don't know. Anyways, lot of transport here. Lot of transport. We got the Contourlet and brain carriers as well. These are pseudo tanks, faux tank, because you've got the BA-20 and the Steward, and then you have 3 other armored choices, so that's 5 armored choices. With these carrying engineers, flamethrowers, and stuff, so they can really dish out some damage. This is a scary list. This is a proper scary list. So Switzerland has some really, really good lists. Now, for predictions for this group, I predict that Denmark will win this, that the Vikings, my team, will win this, but I'm not absolutely sure. I think if we get the matchups we want, I think we have this. But the Cymry, the Swans, and the Swiss all have good platoons. They can all surprise us. They can all do better than expected. So, yeah, I'm slightly more sure on this group than I was on Group A, but not by a massive amount. So that was my predictions. That was my go through of the lists for World Open War. I will see you in the next video where I go over Group C. Cheers.